Welcome back to Medinare. In this video, let's discuss about Kaban's Protocol. Kaban's Protocol is the internationally accepted sequential protocol for the management of TMJ ankylosis. In the year 1990, Kaban, Perret, and Fisher came up with this Kaban's Protocol, and it was globally approved. And later in 2009, Kaban, Boucher, and Trollis modified them. They basically suggested this protocol for the management of TMJ ankylosis in children. And according to their observation, they felt that the common cause of treatment failure for TMJ ankylosis was inadequate resection of ankylotic mass and failure to achieve adequate passive maximal mouth opening intraoperatively on the operating table. Now, this modified version of Kaban's protocol are followed all over the world. So before looking at the actual protocols, let's see some important or basic terminologies to understand the whole process easily. Resection means surgical removal of any structure. By any structure, I mean tissues, bone, organs, etc. Ipsilateral means on the same side of the body. Contralateral refers to the opposite side of the body. By same side, I mean the side that we are mentioning. If the ankylosis is on the right side, if I tell ipsilateral, it is on the right side of the face. If I say contralateral coronoidectomy, then I mean it's on the opposite side, which is on the left side. The next term is myotomy. Myotomy is a surgical procedure where an incision is put on the muscle to relieve constriction. Arthroplasty is a surgery done to restore the function of a joint. Now let's get into the protocols. The first thing that we need to do when it comes to TMJ ankylosis management is early surgical intervention. Surgery should be done in these cases as soon as possible. The next step is aggressive resection. Aggressive excision of the fibrous or bony ankylotic mass is done. In TMJ ankylosis, we know that the temporomandibular joint is fused. We saw in the previous video that this fusion or ankylotic mass can be either fibrous or bony. So we need to excise this bony or fibrous ankylotic mass. By excising that, a gap of at least 1 to 1.5 cm should be created. This process here is called as gap arthroplasty. Also, we need to examine the medial aspect of the ramus for any old malunited condylar fractured piece. After aggressive resection of the ankylotic mass, we need to proceed with ipsilateral coronoidectomy and temporalis myotomy. So, in most of the cases of TMJ ankylosis, there is always association of elongated coronoid process. Once this gap arthroplasty is completed, the coronoidectomy on the same side should be carried out. It can be done separately or in combination with the gap arthroplasty cut from the same extraoral excision. The coronoid process is cut from the level of sigmoid notch till the anterior border of the ramus. So now what happens to the temporalis muscle which gets inserted into the coronoid process? The temporalis muscle attachments are severed by carrying out temporalis myotomy. Now, we need to check for oral opening after this procedure by the assistant. If the maximal mouth opening or the interincisal opening is more than 35 mm, there is no need to carry out contralateral coronoidectomy. If the interincisal mouth opening is less than 35 mm, we need to proceed with the next step, which is contralateral coronoidectomy and temporalis myotomy. So basically, we will be carrying out all these steps on the contralateral side. The uninvolved side coronoidectomy and temporalis myotomy can be carried out through intraoral incision. After this, we need to line the glenoid fossa region with temporalis myofascial flap or native disc, if it can be salvaged. Now, the total joint reconstruction of the ramus condyle unit is done with the help of costochondral graft and rigid fixation or distraction osteogenesis. The next step is early mobilization. If distraction osteogenesis is used to reconstruct the ramus condyle unit, mobilization begins on the day of surgery. But If costochondral graft is used, mobilization should be done only after 10 days. After early mobilization, aggressive physiotherapy should be done for a period of at least 6 months postoperatively, after which regular long-term follow-ups should be made.
This is a schematic representation of ankylosed TMJ. In this region, we can see that the TMJ is fused. Now, the first step as a protocol for management of TMJ ankylosis is aggressive resection. Here we are going to excise the ankylotic mass. This ankylotic mass can be either bony or fibrous. After excising that ankylotic mass, the resultant should be a gap of at least 1 to 1.5 centimeter. So this process of creating this gap is called gap arthroplasty. This procedure is exclusive for TMJ ankylosis management. We know that we are going to create a gap in between the ankylosed mass. This sectioning of the ankylotic mass should be done below the previous joint space and in which no substance is interposed between two cut bony surfaces. If this is the previous joint space, this resection should be done below it. And by previous joint space, I refer to the joint space which was present previously before the ankylosis of TMJ. After resecting that ankylotic mass, a space or a gap of at least 1 to 1.5 cm should be created. After that gap arthroplasty, ipsilateral coronoidectomy is done. Which means we are going to cut the elongated coronoid process on the same side. Followed by this, we are going to do ipsilateral temporalis myotomy. This is the temporalis muscle getting inserted into the coronoid process. So we are going to put an incision on the temporalis muscle to relieve it. After ipsilateral coronoidectomy and condylectomy, we will end up with something like this. If the maximum mouth opening or the interincisal opening is less than 35 mm, we will proceed with contralateral coronoidectomy. And we will also proceed with contralateral temporalis myotomy. And to get access to this uninvolved site, we can go through intraoral incision. If the temporalis myofascial flap is salvaged, we can line it with glenoid fossa. After that, the total joint reconstruction of the ramus condyle unit can be done with the help of distraction osteogenesis or with the help of costochondral graft. After which we need to proceed with early mobilization and aggressive physiotherapy. So the first step is aggressive resection of the condylar mass, followed by ipsilateral coronoidectomy and temporalis myotomy, followed by which, if the interincisal distance is less than 35 mm, we will proceed with contralateral coronoidectomy and temporalis myotomy, after which we will line the glenoid fossa with temporalis myofascial flap or the native disc, and total joint reconstruction is done with the help of distraction osteogenesis or costochondral graft. Early mobilization should be done for distraction osteogenesis. It should be done from day 1, and for costochondral graft, It should be done after day 10. And then aggressive physiotherapy should be done for the next 6 months.
And that brings us to the end of the video. I hope you guys found it helpful. Do like this video and subscribe to Medinare for more. Thanks for watching.